I want to show you yet another example of the cognitive dissonance or thought conflict that exists in the Seventh Day Adventist organization when they're confronted with truth and they can't accept it and try to work their way around it, reinvent things, say it isn't so, and just or either totally ignore it. I happen to be looking in the sidebar and I saw this video that was called, it's on YouTube, and the video was Fox 40 News with Pastor Doug Batchelor on the end of the world. And in their video, Doug Batchelor is just basically commenting on Harold Camping's prediction of the end of the world sometime in 2011. That's all it is. It's no big deal on the video, but it's just the comments in the video. I found this one comment by Seventh Day Adventist member Rusda2 where he's over there having a discussion with a young lady about the predictions of Ellen White, among other things. One was prediction of Ellen White on the end of the world and Jesus coming back in 1844. Anyway, here's one of the comments that Rusda2 made on that video, and you can go to that video again, Fox 40 News with Pastor Doug Batchelor on the end of the world, and you can look in there and see this comment for yourself. Anyway, he says, and I quote, and this is Rusda2 of the Seventh Day Adventist, I quote, "When you speak of 1844, you need to clarify what you are saying, because everything you said that I answered on the subject plainly accused the SDA Church of making these predictions when you cannot supply a single proof to show that they did. I have asked repeatedly for simple documentation from the writings of EGW, which is Ellen White, where she or the church made these predictions, but since there are none, no one can supply it." He goes on to say, "Much of what she wrote assuredly contradicts your interpretations," end quote. Now let me tell you what the general statement is anyway. The general statement is for Seventh-day Adventist members. They put these things out here, where, well, if you go there and look at that video, you can see where I asked for documentation and no one could supply it. Well, these Seventh-day Adventist members see these things and believe it to be true. They know, well, see there, Rusda2 sit over there. He's asked for them and no one supplied them. So I guess no one supplied them. They just playing each other's is all they're doing. Again, logical people, intelligent people see right through this stuff. But anyway, he makes a statement down here about the prediction of the 1844 return of Christ. And he said no one has supplied the proof yet. Well, the point is, I've supplied the proof numerous occasions and gave the documentation in my videos. He just cannot accept the fact that he's following a false prophet. Again, this points out too why one of the reasons he's mad at me. In this very thing, he proved not only did Ellen White predict the return of Jesus Christ in 1844, but he also proved the two different three angels message that I've harped on several times in videos. He also proved that they did preach two different three angel messages. The way he talked about doing this, he was trying to refute a video where I showed the documentation and so forth about Ellen White predicting the return of Christ in 1844. So he goes to the book. It's funny how he has the book there, but yet no one supplied him any documentation, but yet he's reading from the book that I gave the documentation from. Anyway, just another thought there. He's reading in there, and he finds the word judgment in here. So he said, see the word judgment there? That means investigative judgment. Well, there's where he made a mistake, because he doesn't know the history of his own organization. How can he defend an organization when he doesn't even know the history of the organization? And when he said judgment there, he supplied the word investigative judgment, not the book. And the book was talking about the first three angels' message, and he knows that if he'd have read through it, maybe he didn't know there was three angel messages. I don't know. But anyway, the book he's referring to that I gave the citation from is referring to the first three angel message that was endorsed and approved by Ellen White. The first three angel messages, though, that I pointed out in the video that Rusda2 didn't know his history, the first three angel messages did not include investigative judgment. So he, from not knowing the history, he proved there was two three angel message, and also that Ellen White predicted the return of Jesus Christ in 1844 as well. So all this is that no one supplied him any documentation. Again, it's funny that he was reading from the book that I gave the documentation for. Maybe he didn't know that. I don't know. But anyway, they just go to show you that these statements like this, they put all over YouTube. Even send people emails about these things. And it just play into the Adventist ignorance is all it does. Like I say, run over here and look at this. I've asked them, see over there? I asked them 9 months ago to give me proof, but nobody supplies me the proof. Nobody supplies me the documentation, when it's in my videos about it. But in his mind, see this cognitive dissonance, this thoughts conflict that he has in his mind. See, he can't bring this together to make himself realize I'm following a false prophetess. He has to reinvent something or bring something else up because it's too painful for him to think that he spent all of his life like this, following a false prophetess, and all she was doing was lying to them and predicting the return of Jesus Christ over and over and over and over. Oh well, such is the mind of a Seventh Day Adventist person. It's kind of like, I remember once, believe this or not, when I was in law enforcement, chief of police called me one night and told me he wanted me to go out to this person's house and kill a squirrel. Believe it or not, that's what he called and asked me to do. What it was a squirrel coming from this wooded area to this where the subdivision was. And he was climbing a tree, and up under this tree was a dog pen. And the squirrel, by climbing that tree, was causing all these dogs to bark. And he was waking up the neighborhood, basically what he was doing. So the chief wanted me to go out there and kill this squirrel. So anyway, I go out there the next morning, and I'm waiting to see if this squirrel will come across this field and up this tree. And these dogs were in a cyclone fence. Well, the house next to this one had a cyclone fence around it as well. Excuse me. And it had this slope yard in the back at about a 45-degree angle or so. And I noticed it was a cyclone fence there. There was this peach tree limb hanging over this cyclone fence. And I saw this beagle down there, about a 13.5-inch beagle. For those of you who know beagles, about a 13.5-inch beagle, something like that. Anyway, he would get a big running start. He'd run around the cyclone fence and head down the other way toward that peach tree limb. And he'd try to jump and grab that peach tree limb. And he did this 2 or 3 times, like he was trying to get a peach off that peach tree limb that was hanging over the fence. So finally, he went back and just sit there. If you're looking in his mind, he could be thinking, well, if I reached up and grabbed that, if I finally did jump high enough to get that peach tree limb, I couldn't shake a peach out of it. And if I could jump high enough to get it, and I did shake it hard enough to get a peach out of it, it'd probably fall on the other side anyway. Or if I did jump high enough to get it, and I shook one out, and it fell on the ground on my side, it'd probably be rotten. So I don't want one of the darn peaches to begin with. Well, that's kind of the thinking of the Seventh Day Adventist organization. They just kind of they just talk their way out of truth. Until next time, this has been God is saying, God bless.